Welcome to Daily Wisdom, Walking the Path with the Buddha, a podcast shared by David Roylance. This podcast is dedicated to guiding you to completely eliminate the discontent mind and the suffering it causes by attaining enlightenment. Learn and practice the teachings of Gautama Buddha that will guide you to fully attain a peaceful, calm, serene, and content mind with joy. To support this podcast, visit patreon.com/support Buddha or visit buddhadailywisdom.com, where you will discover a full range of courses, retreats, and online learning resources to assist you on the path to enlightenment. Now, here's our teacher to share more.
Sawadee Kap. Hello and welcome to Daily Wisdom, Walking the Path with the Buddha. Today is our group learning program, and today we're learning Breathing Mindfulness Meditation. This is part 4 of a 4-part series where I've been guiding students in developing their meditation practice. Well, in the very first session, I taught Breathing Mindfulness Meditation thoroughly, and we actually did a session together. Then the second one, we did a meditation session together, and I opened up to questions, and that's the same thing I did in our last session as well. And that's what we're going to be doing today, where I'm just going to guide you in a meditation session, helping you to elongate the amount of time that we've been meditating, because we've been growing to longer and longer to the point where we're meditating 30 minutes. And then afterwards, I'm going to open up to any and all questions that you guys have. If you are tuning in through any of the platforms that we broadcast to and you haven't seen part 1, 2, or 3, you're welcome to go back to that through YouTube or Facebook or even on our podcast. You'll be able to have access to that. But today, if this is your first time joining this series, it's okay, because we're going to meditate together. I'll guide you through that, and then we'll just open up to any and all questions that you guys might have. So I'd like to welcome all of you, whether you're joining for the first time or you're joining regularly, and at the same time invite you to join for meditation. I'm going to start with some chanting to ease us into the meditation, which you guys are welcome to join along in. After the chanting, I'm going to come in with some guidance. Then there'll be a period of time where we'll just be meditating together. It'll just be quiet. Then we're going to come out of the meditation with some more chanting. And that's where we'll start and open up to any questions that you guys have. Whether you're in Facebook, YouTube, or Zoom, you can ask questions. So if you'd like to join for meditation, you might pull up a meditation cushion, or maybe you're on a couch or a sofa or a wheelchair or a bench or anything like this. There's the seated position, lying, standing, and walking. The first 3 work out really well for online learning: seated, lying, and standing, where the walking position doesn't typically work out. But if you know that and you would like to do it and you're in a situation where you are able to do that, then excellent. You can do the walking position if you like. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with the chanting, and then afterwards I'm going to come in with the guidance. So make yourself comfortable with your lower body and your hands and arms, and if you'd like to chant along, you're more than welcome, and then afterwards I'll come back in with the guidance. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Bhutang Bhagavanang Abhivateyami Savakhato Bhagavata Tammo Dhammang Namasami Supatipano Bhagavato Sāvaka Saṅkho Saṅghang Namami Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. นะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะอิติปิโสภะคะวะอะระหังสัมมาสัมพุทโธวิชาจารนังสัมมโนสกขาโตโรกาวิตุอนุเตโรปุริสาดามมาสติสัตตาตาวามนุสนังโพโตภาควาติ With the lower body and hands and arms comfortable, and the upper body erect, just close the eyes and start breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Here you're just looking to establish the breath, a nice, natural, steady, consistent breath. Not forced or controlled, just a gradual inhale through the nose, experiencing the full breath. And then whenever you're ready, exhale out through the nose. Breathing in and out. Breathing in and out. Your breath may not match up with the guidance that I'm providing, and that's okay. This is your practice. I'm just here for guidance. You can use this voice as a reminder that when you get to the next inhale, breathe in gradually through the nose, developing a nice, natural, steady, consistent breath. And then whenever you're ready, exhale out through the nose, experiencing the full breath. Breathing in and out. Breathing in and out. With the breath well established, start fixating the mind on the breath, either the sound of the breath coming into the nose or the sensation of air moving over the skin into the nose. The breath is the present moment. Fixate the mind on the breath, the present moment. Breathing in and out. Breathing in and out. With the mind fixated on the breath, whenever you notice that it moves off the breath, cut that off, let it go, and come back to the breath, the present moment. No need to observe the thought, label it, judge it, analyze it, or even try to figure out where it's coming from. Whenever you notice that the mind is moved off the breath, cut that off, let it go, and come back to the breath, the present moment. Breathing in and out. Breathing in and out. I'm going to be quiet now and let you do this work of focusing on the breath, cutting off and letting go anytime the mind moves off the breath. You have nowhere to go. There's nothing to do. No one needs you right now. This is your time to focus on the breath. Breathing in and out. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagava. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagava. Bhutang Bhagavanhang Abhivateyami. Savakato Bhagavata Tammo Dhammang Namasami. Supatipano Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Sanghang Namami. Namo Rasa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Rasa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Rasa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Iti piso Bhagava Arahang Samma Sambuddho Vicacaranang Sammuno Sakato Rogavitu Anutero Purisa Dhamma Sati Satatawa Manusarang Poto Bhagavati. Okay, if you guys would like to make your way out of meditation, once again, welcome to everyone, whether you're joining for the first time or you're joining regularly. Nice to see all of you guys here. If you would like to ask questions, I'm going to open up to any and all questions that you guys might have related to any aspect of the path to enlightenment. You can ask questions about meditation if you like, or any other aspect that you like. You can put that into Facebook, YouTube, or Zoom, or you can raise your hand in Zoom electronically and then unmute yourself and ask any and all questions that you like. So it looks like Yusuf has a question. Okay, go ahead, Yusuf.
Hello. Throughout this time I have been practicing, there were a lot of problems I faced, and that's normal. And I was able to either figure them out or still trying to figure them out. It is still like an easy task to do that, because I have the foundation, which is maybe the Eightfold Path and some other teachings. But there is one issue. It is hard to me to figure it out since long ago, which is my personality. No matter how much I try, it is still hard to figure out what should I do about this. Maybe if I told you, teacher, how to walk this path, you might say there is a foundation, which is the Eightfold Path. So do you maybe have anything that will help me to walk this way in a straightforward way, something to rely on to maybe guide me? I'm not telling you to tell me what to do, but if you have anything to say, that would be great. If you don't have anything to say and just stick with practice the Eightfold Path, that also would be a great answer.
Okay, so a person's personality is going to be formed by their thoughts and their mind. And if the mind is polluted, meaning unenlightened, it's got those 10 fetters, one's personality is going to be based in those fetters. They're going to see, someone have arrogance or conceit or pride or boastfulness if there's that fetter in the mind. Or if somebody has sensual desire, you're going to see those kinds of things as part of the personality. So as you're practicing the Eightfold Path, which is leading to the elimination of all discontentedness and ultimately eradicating all the 10 fetters, you'll notice that the mind will brighten up, it'll cheer up, it'll not be polluted, it'll be wholesome, and you'll see more and more wholesomeness coming through in one's personality. But it wouldn't be wise to try to force a personality or try to develop any particular personality. That would be kind of like forcing it, almost putting like a round peg in a square hole. But instead, if you do just focus on the Eightfold Path and cleaning up the mind and eradicating these pollutions, you'll see more and more that your personality will shift, and your character and the way that you interact in the world is going to adjust based on now not having those pollutions in your mind. And those pollutions are going to be gradually diminishing, and the wholesome roots are going to be gradually increasing, and you're going to see more and more of those wholesome qualities shining through. But for now, I know that you have a lot of questions on personality because I saw your messages. And if I was you, I would just set that aside. Don't try to have any particular type of personality or want to be perceived by others as having a particular personality, but instead just focus on training your mind using the Eightfold Path and all the other teachings. And then whatever personality you're going to have, it will come shining through as the mind brightens up and becomes more and more wholesome.
Great. So you said to leave that aside. Do you mean leave that aside, like working on the personal existence of you, the personality, or to leave everything about it aside, like even looking at the unwholesome or something or unwise, to just leave that aside and work only on the Eightfold Path? Or
No, what I mean about leaving something aside is leaving aside any kind of desire to have a particular type of personality. That instead, if you're looking at your day-to-day actions and your day-to-day verbal actions and your thoughts and your ideas, if you're working the Eightfold Path in the way that it's described and that it's taught, you're doing the inner work that you need in order to eliminate the pollutions. And whatever personality you're going to have, it's going to happen just as a result of the mind becoming more and more purified. So what I'm saying to leave aside is any kind of desire for the personality to be one way or the other, because that's going to shift and change as your mind is being transformed.
That's also a great answer, because I have like the biggest desire to be something else. For example, when I am searching maybe on Facebook or YouTube and I see another guy, my mind becomes like, oh, I just want to be that. When I watch a movie, I just want to be that. So any guy I see, my mind is, I just want to be that. So it is really like burdening my mind. But about this, to not become someone else, my personality tends to be excited, or I don't know how to describe it, but it is enthusiasm. Like I am the joyful personality. I don't know if you did understand that. So should I try to maybe calm down this thing, or it is normal to be like excited in a wholesome way or something? I don't know how to describe it so that you understand what I mean fully.
Yeah, if the mind is uplifted and it has energy and it's cheerful and it's unconditioned, that's what you would like to get to. When I mean unconditioned, it's not based on any condition. It's not like, oh, it's sunny outside, so I'm going to be cheerful. Or my bank account balance is here, so I'm going to be cheerful. Not that. That's conditional excitement or conditional happiness. But if you're just cheerful and bright and pleasant and just pleased, This is unconditioned. But if you're noticing excitement, this is from craving, desire, attachment, where the mind's like, oh, I'm so excited. Yay, I'm going to go outside and play, or I'm going to go do this, or I'm going to go do that. Ah, I'm so excited. This is based on some condition. And that's what you're trying to get rid of. You're trying to get to the point where you can enjoy life and you can enjoy all aspects of your life, but the mind isn't experiencing conditioned, pleasant feelings. This is something the mind has to learn how to do. It doesn't know how to do this in the unenlightened state, because what we do throughout our life is we chase cravings, and then if we get what we want, we get excited and we enjoy it. And if we don't get what we want, we get angry or sad and we don't enjoy it, right? So this is like conditional experiences. What you're looking to be able to get to is where you can just enjoy every aspect of your life, and there's no aspect of your life that you would change or have otherwise. Your life is going to change. There's going to be changes, but in terms of like your life, like where you live, the friends that you have in your life, the job that you have, the things that you do on a day-to-day basis, you just thoroughly enjoy what you're doing. But if any aspect of that changes, of course, you'd be fine with that by the time you get to enlightenment. So you'd like to get to the point where, like, say your mom says, hey, let's go over here to the park. And you're like, sure, Mom, let's go to the park, perhaps, if that's what you would like to do. And you can thoroughly enjoy that. But when it's over, and you're off to the next thing. It's not like, oh, man, we have to go home. Oh, I don't want to go home. I want to stay in the park. This is the mind holding on and craving to be in the park. If you're doing any number of things, you would like to learn how to enjoy it. And then when it's done and over with, your mind is done. It's over with. It's not clinging to that situation or that experience and longing for it to continue. That the mind already understands that this thing is impermanent, and you just enjoy it for the present moment, and then you move on to the next thing. And then you enjoy that too. And then you're done with that and you move on to the next thing and you enjoy that too. But with craving in your mind, you won't be able to enjoy every single aspect of life, because the mind's only going to enjoy the things that it's fulfilling its cravings. So you would like to get to the point where the mind isn't basing its inner feelings on its cravings, but instead it can just enjoy every aspect of life. Even like when I drive from my home to the temple on my motorbike and it's pouring down raining, I've got a smile on my face and I'm enjoying it, right? It's like, oh, wow, look at all this rain. Like, wow, I got to really go slow. And like, wow, like, look at this. Like, I'm getting drenched and soaking wet. Like, what am I going to do when I get to the temple? People, will see that I've been, all wet, and I'm going to need to find a new pair of clothes. And like, wow, this is pretty interesting. Like, how's this all going to transpire and unfold? So you're just kind of, no matter what you're doing, you can enjoy that situation and not have any kind of frustration or agitation or annoyment. And then you know that that's an impermanent situation, and now you're off to the next thing.
I know you are talking in general about enjoying everything, but I will specific it to the personal resistance view. Most of the time, I can't enjoy what I do about the things with my friends and such, because when I do a certain thing and get back home, my mind is like, whoa, Yusuf, what are you doing? This is not what you desire to be. This is not the personality you want. This is one thing. About excitement, I don't think that the mind is excited, because it is peaceful, it is calm. But my personality is cheerful, and I don't know the replacement word for excitement in a wholesome way, but I don't see it as a wholesome. The mind doesn't see my cheerful way as wholesome, because he aspires to be that guy who is calm, talks slowly, walks slowly. So when I'm excited or cheerful or some things like this, I see it like as unwholesome. I need to clean this up. So from what I did understand from you, it is still wholesome to be cheerful and be energized, or that guy who have energy all the time. So it is normal, right?
Yeah, it is. You're just looking for that to be unconditioned, that it's not based on any condition. As an enlightened being, you'll be cheerful, you'll be bright, you'll be radiant, you'll be uplifted. You're not going to be down in the dumps, and you're not even going to be mediocre. You're not even going to be even keel. I mean, you will be even keel in terms of your temperament, that you'll be calm, but inside, it's almost like the mind is just like constantly smiling inside.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, I don't see any questions anywhere else. So what I'm going to do, or hold on, here we go. We have a question coming in. It looks like Fiona. Okay. Hi, teacher. Do you have any advice on interruptions during meditation? I found the mind becomes slightly discontent when interrupted during meditation. When going back to meditating, should I start from the beginning time-wise or just continue where I left off? Thank you. Okay, so this is the mind craving for meditation to be a certain way. And you can actually be attached to meditation itself. The mind is a master at being attached. Oftentimes people don't understand that there's no such thing as a wholesome attachment or a wholesome craving. As long as the mind's holding on and craving permanence, when it's meeting with impermanence, it's going to experience any kind of discontentedness. Or even when it's getting what it wants, it's getting discontent. So you would like to understand that meditation is going to be interrupted from time to time. That's normal. That's the impermanent nature of your meditation practice. And don't cling to meditation. I think you've probably heard me talk about how I've been meditating before, and my son walked in and was like, "Hey, I need you to take me to school." And I was like, "Really?" I was like, "I thought your mom was here." And he's like, and she was taking you to school. And he's like, "No, mom's gone, and I need you to take me to school." So I needed to just get up, go take him to school, and then come back and meditate. So in that situation, I was meditating for like 3 minutes, and I did start over from the very beginning. But if you're like 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes into your meditation and something happens where you need to break away from your meditation and come back, if you'd like to start over, you can, but you don't have to. It's really up to you. Each situation is going to be different. You got to see what amount of time that you have in your meditation. But even that 3-minute meditation that I had before my son came and interrupted it, there was benefit there, right? Like I didn't count that as one of my meditations because it was so short, but I noticed that the mind was quite peaceful during that period of time. In that 3 minutes, I had some certain amount of awareness of mind or mindfulness, certain amount of concentration, and there was a certain amount of letting go. So even short meditations like that can be beneficial to a certain degree. It's just not one of the 2 or 3 for 30 minutes or more. So you'd like to let go of any kind of clinging and holding on or craving meditation, and you would like to choose for yourself about whether or not you should start over from the beginning or not. That's a personal choice that you're going to need to make in each situation based on your time that you've been meditating and the time that you have remaining. Okay, and I think that was the only one in the text. So Yusuf has another question. Go ahead, sir.
I think it is about the right speech. So a couple of days ago, something funny did happen to me. And when I tried to tell it to a friend, and I did tell it, after thinking about it, I was like, how could this be beneficial to him? Like telling him a story about something in my life. How is he going to benefit from that? It is like having no value to him. So is this right, or it is just maybe I have hidden cravings that is preventing me from saying such a thing? So what do you think?
Yeah, if you're just talking about your life without having somebody ask you about it, this is coming from the mind's conceit, the arrogance, the pride, and there can be central desire in there too. Anytime there's craving, desire, attachment, there's pretty much central desire involved where the mind maybe just wants to talk. So I wouldn't talk about your life with anybody unless they ask you questions. Whereas if you just like, by the way, I am enrolled in college and I'm taking these classes and I live in this community and I did this in the past, there's no reason for you to talk about that. It's just coming from the arrogance and the pride, the boastfulness. It's coming from the central desire of just wanting to talk. So, but if somebody asked you, like, by the way, Yusuf, where do you live? What do you do? What classes are you taking? These kinds of things. They're interested and they're asking you questions. And that's where you just give them whatever information that they're asking for. And you don't go on and on and on and on and on and add this and add that. And you don't become arrogant and boastful, right? If somebody's like, so what college classes do you have? Well, I'm taking this and that and this and that, and I'm getting an A over here, and over here the teacher really likes me a lot, and I'm turning in this project, and it's the most monumental project ever, right? Like this is coming from arrogance. But if it's like, hey, what classes are you taking? Oh, I'm taking this class, and that class. Oh, okay. How's it going for you? Oh, it's going great. I really enjoy the classes. I think the professor's really interesting and I'm learning a lot and I'm pleased that I took his class, right? So you like to be like clear and concise, but you can add a little bit of flavor in there, but you're not just looking to go on and on or allow the mind to be conceitful about it.
So how to balance between what you just said and a couple days ago when you said it is not egoic or from the conceit to talk about something happened such as, hey David, look, I had that dream, it is funny. You said it is okay, so you
Had
didn't ask me about it.
I had what?
What,
I
what
didn't
do you
hear you.
mean?
You said that I said it was okay to say, "Hey, I had what? I had a dream."
I had a dream, it is funny. Hear it, David. You said it is not egoic, it is okay to say that.
I wouldn't have said something like that. I wouldn't say that something's okay or not okay because I don't teach that way. If you're talking about a dream to somebody, that would be if somebody asked you a question. I wouldn't just, by the way, I had this dream last night and oh my goodness, it was like this and like this and like that. Like, that's just ego. That's just arrogance. I wouldn't have said that. I think you've misunderstood something.
You said it is in this situation of my life, like maybe I think you meant as a beginner, it is still not egoic and it is okay to tell someone about your dream. It is not the ego, or you just meant it is not the ego, but it isn't okay to just go and blah blah about your dreams.
No, I don't recall ever a time that you and I actually spoke about dreams. I think you're confusing something, Yusuf. I wouldn't have said that it's okay to do something because that's like I'm setting a rule or a standard. I don't teach that way. It's up to each individual person to decide for themselves what they would like to talk about and what they wouldn't like to talk about. But if you proposed a topic and you said, "Hey, David, would it be okay for me to talk about my dreams?" I would have given you the guidance of, if somebody asked you about your dreams, then sure, that could be fine for you to talk about. Whether you choose to talk about it or not is up to you. But I wouldn't just kind of like come out of the blue and just start talking about your dreams with somebody. That isn't an ideal way to have a conversation.
Okay, maybe I did misunderstand, but we talked about this maybe 10 days ago, if you don't recall.
No. When did we talk? You mean in class?
Personal meeting about the ego talk. If I just come into your life and said some things about my life.
Yusuf, you and I have
I
not.
can,
You and I have not had a
I can,
You and I have not had a personal meeting for a very long time. I've got my schedule right here in front of me.
really? I thought 10 days
Yes.
ago
No,
when you said,
it was
when
October. It
you,
was October
oh,
15th. It was over a month ago.
oh, I thought it 10 days ago when you told me to stop asking you a question or something and focus on the Eightful Path, if you remember.
No, it was over a month ago that you and I had any kind of personal discussion.
Oh, I thought you had something in your memory. Okay, so let's leave that aside. And you said to not blah blah about yourself if not asked. I have noticed that most of my friends is not maybe interested in me anymore. Like before, they were calling me, they were texting me, they were doing all that attachments things to me. It was, even though it is attachments and going to cause some painful feelings, but it was like something giving me happiness. Like now, they are not calling me all the time. They are not texting me all the time. They are not asking me all the time out. It is peaceful, but it's maybe boring or something. They lost their interest in me. So
Good. Honestly, Yusuf, because friends that are constantly texting you and constantly trying to get you to come out with them, that's attachment. And it's just going to sabotage your relationships and they're going to disintegrate. And as you know, your relationships were very problematic, and they have been very problematic for a long time. So if they're starting to calm that down, their mind's going to swing. That when they're holding on to craving and they start letting that go, they're going to swing all the way to the other side, where they're going to start to be indifferent and could care less. But then eventually they'll start coming a little bit more to the middle, where, maybe they contact you once in a while. And if they're experiencing boredom or whatever, that's on them. It's not from you. But if you're experiencing boredom, that's because of your craving for this constant contact. In this situation, it sounds like that your mind is wanting that constant contact and feeling like you're important and, wow, my friends are inviting me out. Instead, you're going to need to get to a middle ground here, or a middle way, where you understand that your friends will contact you sometimes and sometimes they won't. And as you see, there's a certain amount of peacefulness with that. You just got to let go of any kind of craving for your friends to contact you at any particular frequency.
It is becoming boring to my mind, or sad, because in real life, so maybe I am in college and I am walking with a friend. He just leave me and go to that friend who is doing all the kind of unwholesomeness. He is excited, he is sarcasming other people. So my mind is like, I did put myself in this situation by making them decrease their attachments to me. It is now almost I am becoming alone or something. They still love me, still care about me, still asking me out and texting me, but not as same as always. I miss that, as same as always.
Yeah, the way you'll solve that is by eliminating your craving, because they are attached to you and you're attached to them, and you've got to distance yourself for a period of time to train the mind to let go. When you let go of that craving to them and wanting them, you'll eliminate the missing, you'll eliminate the boredom, the loneliness, you'll eliminate all that, and you'll be perfectly content alone, and you'll be perfectly content when you're spending time with your friends too. But right now, as long as there's a craving, and the mind's not getting what it wants, which is this stimulation from your friends, you're going to be bored. You're going to be lonely. You're going to experience these other things, like the sadness of like, oh my goodness, my friends aren't contacting me as much as they used to. So the more that you're experiencing those feelings, that means your cravings being triggered. And that's actually really good and really healthy for your mind. Just keep cutting that off and cutting that off. You contacting them and you spending time with them like you did before so much, that's not going to solve your problem. You would like to let the mind to fully let go here. And as it's fully let go, those feelings will be gone, and you'll be able to be perfectly peaceful and joyful alone, or perfectly peaceful and joyful with them. But right now, your mind can't be peaceful alone, because you're feeling lonely, bored, you're feeling like you're missing them, you're feeling sad. That's because the craving is still there. It hasn't let go yet.
The last question is, to what better does shyness belongs to?
It's mostly personal existence view, because the mind is wanting to be perceived by others in a certain way. And when it's not being perceived that way, then there's shyness, or like the mind can be afraid. Like with shyness, there's even a little bit of fear in there usually, where the mind wants to be perceived by others in a certain way, and it becomes shy. That it, like public speaking is a good example. Like the mind feels like other people are going to judge me and they're going to look at me in a negative way, and the mind doesn't want to be perceived that way by others, and now it's shy to go up there and public speak, or other situations like this. Or like for you, I think you're probably asking because of talking with girls, because you've talked about this many times, is that when you talk with girls, you get shy. This is because you're wanting to be perceived in a certain way by this girl. And if you're being perceived that way, you feel good. But if you're not being perceived that way, you feel bad. So you have this shyness and this inability to just be calm and talk with the girls nicely. And this actually hinders you. So by you getting rid of your personal existence view, you'll notice that you'll be completely comfortable talking with these people. And in some cases, they're going to perceive you in a negative light, but you'll be completely fine with that. And in some cases, they're going to perceive you as a positive light. If somebody's perceiving you in a negative light, that's something coming from their own mind. Of course, you would always like to look at, is there anything I'm doing? Am I being disrespectful or frustrated? Or am I being pessimistic? Am I complaining? Am I being arrogant and prideful? You'd like to always look at those things. But even if someone's arrogant and prideful and these kinds of things, if you are around an enlightened being, they're not going to look at you in a negative way. But for an unenlightened being, they will look at you in a negative way for those things. But that's still coming from their mind. So you would like to get to a point where you purify your mind and you eliminate all those pollutions. And at the same time, if anybody ever looks at you in a negative light or gossip or slanders you, you got to be able to understand that that's coming from them. And you would like to clean up any aspect of your life that is allowing that kind of thing to occur. But at the same time, people are still going to do it. You know, you look at the Buddha, he was perfectly enlightened, the fully perfectly enlightened one. And people still slander him. People still gossip him, even today, right? So no matter how pure your mind is, people are still going to say things that are untrue about this being Yusuf. But by you getting rid of personal existence view and all the other fetters, you'll be able to reside peaceful regardless of what people are choosing to say about you.
Okay, is it fine with you to continue me talking, or
I think
you need your time?
I think what I'd like to do is in class here, and then if you'd like to stick around and ask some questions, maybe you can. But I think this is good to just kind of in class here, if it's okay for you.
Yeah, sure, okay.
Okay, so I'm just going to end class because I know that people have things that they're planning to do in their day, and I would like to just end by thanking everyone for joining for the class, and thank you for being interested in learning the teachings of the Buddha. Next week on Wednesday, I'm going to be in the first part of a 4-part series on loving kindness meditation. I'm going to be teaching a 4-part series helping students to build up their loving kindness meditation. And this is going to help you to eliminate anger, hatred, ill will, and all the lesser versions like frustration, irritation, even annoyance and dislike towards other beings, because an enlightened being doesn't even have the slightest dislike towards another being. It can also help you to eliminate any kind of negative self-talk. If you have diminishing and degrading talk within your own mind that you're degrading this being who you are, this will help you to eliminate that as well. It's going to essentially rewire the mind. This Sunday, I'm going to be teaching the 4 stages of enlightenment in the 10 fetters, helping you to understand what the individual fetters are and what the 4 stages of enlightenment are, how the mind moves through these 4 stages as you're eliminating the actual fetters. So you can attend that live either 9 a.m. or 9 p.m. on Sunday, and then the meditation classes on Wednesday. But if you can't attend live, then there's the recording on Facebook, YouTube, and in our podcast as well. So thank you all. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for your interest in learning. And perhaps we'll see you guys in a future class. Be well and have a lovely rest of your day. Sawadee ka.
Thank you for listening to this podcast. To provide support for this podcast, visit patreon.com/support Buddha. To access more teachings, visit buddhadailywisdom.com. There, you will discover a full range of courses, retreats, and online resources to assist you on the path to enlightenment. Remember to establish a daily, consistent meditation practice, along with learning and practicing these teachings. A well-developed meditation practice is the foundation in which to train the mind to attain enlightenment.